Hey, and welcome to another Brexit Explained video. In this one we're going to discuss the accusation that the Speaker of the House of Commons, John Bercow, is plotting to derail Brexit. This is a story we've seen popping up on various news outlets in the past few days, so we wanted to explain to you exactly what's happening. If you're not familiar with John Bercow, he's the Speaker of the House of Commons, which means he has a variety of roles, including keeping the House in order.
Order! 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 Order!
We have a full video explaining the role of the Speaker, so if you want to know more, there's a link to that down below. Bercow has been the Speaker for about a decade now, and despite starting his career as a Conservative MP, before having to resign from his party to become Speaker, he's been incredibly unpopular with the Conservatives for quite some time now. Before Brexit, he was more of a nuisance than anything else, but now he's become a lot more influential. This is because a lot of the parliamentary processes around Brexit revolves around the amendments he selects, and Conservatives, especially Brexiteers, think that he's deliberately ignored some Brexiteer amendments and given unfair weight to Remainer amendments. Also, Brexit has put the UK in a bit of a constitutional crisis, and it falls upon the Speaker as the presiding officer of the House of Commons to interpret the Constitution. The UK's Constitution is a weird and complicated thing. We have a video on that which we've linked down below. But basically, it's not a black and white thing. It requires a degree of interpretation. Normally, politics stays within these boundaries, but sometimes it gets into a grey area, as it's done with Brexit. And at times like this, it falls to the Speaker, John Bercow, to interpret it. For example, his decision to deny a third meaningful vote on May's Brexit deal without substantial changes really annoyed Conservative MPs, especially the government. While he did have a reason to do so, because, as we said, the British Constitution is a matter of interpretation to some degree, some Conservatives argue that it wasn't an honest interpretation, and he was actually trying to satisfy his anti-Brexit, anti-Conservative agenda. However, interpreting the Constitution and the rules of the House is one of the Speaker's key roles, as we discussed in our video on the topic. So if they don't like his interpretation, they might try and kick him out. Something which happened earlier this year. This attempt, like the one in 2015, failed, and Bercow stayed in place. Despite this, and maybe because of the controversy, the BBC reported in October that Bercow had told his friends he planned to resign over the summer, allowing a new Speaker to take his place for the remainder of the Brexit process. However, news surfaced in recent weeks saying that Bercow's intentions have changed, with him allegedly telling his team that he plans to stay in position until Christmas, which means after the current Brexit deadline of the 31st of October. So why is this being framed as a secret plot to derail Brexit? Well, as I mentioned, the Speaker has a number of powers, including choosing which amendments make it to a vote in Parliament. This means that over the last year or so, he's been able to shape the future of Brexit, with the amendments he's chosen. But that's been controversial at times. As I said earlier, some claim that Bercow's decisions have been too pro-EU and favoured Remainer arguments. Others argue he's simply trying to maintain a balance between the two sides, letting some Remainer arguments through to compete with the Brexiteer ones. What Brexiteers are concerned about is that his influence might make the kind of Brexit they're looking for less likely. More specifically, his influence might make no deal less likely. They're worried that Bercow is choosing to extend his tenure so his term can match the new extended length of Brexit. They're concerned that he's hoping to continue influencing Brexit and pushing it closer to a Remain outcome. Despite the criticisms of Bercow being too much of a Remainer, he did put an end to a plan which would have effectively prevented a no-deal Brexit. On Monday, the Speaker chose not to progress an amendment to the government spending plan, which would have deprived some public services of funding if the UK ended up having a no-deal Brexit. If this had become law, it would have effectively stopped a no-deal Brexit in its tracks, as MPs wouldn't have been able to allow a no-deal, as it would stop funding to core government services. A spokesman for Bercow remarked that the Speaker was elected by the House in 2017 for the course of the Parliament. In the event he has anything to say on his future plans, he'll make an announcement to the House first. Sir Edward Lee, someone in contention to replace Bercow, took a dig at the current Speaker, saying, "I would be a traditional Speaker, who does not speak much. Like a judge, I would, by my conduct and dress, submerge my personality into the office. I would be rigidly impartial." The question is how long Bercow's really going to stay in office, and if Conservatives will try and get rid of him again before he manages to leave. Eagle-eyed viewers, and maybe some not that eagle-eyed viewers too, will have spotted a couple of not so subtle promos for our merch store during this video. Be that the order shirt at the beginning,
Order!
or the Brexit pumpkin shirt for the Halloween Brexit deadline. We've still got our new Pride merch, and for a few more days the Island with Shoes design. Pick up any of the shirts from our merch store, including some of the older designs. You can find them all using the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching this video. To make sure you don't miss any of our videos in the future, make sure to subscribe. You can also find us across other social networks simply by searching for TLDR News.